Everybody, how are you today? I am Joy Bailey. I go by the Mortgage Boss on all my social media platforms, including here on YouTube. So, welcome to my channel. I am a mortgage loan officer have been a loan officer for the past 9 years. And I talk about all things related to housing, the housing market, purchasing a home, personal finance, all that jazz. And you can also find me on other social media platforms as well, including Instagram and TikTok. Oh boy, is everything okay? So, what are we talking about today? I had a situation last week, and it wasn't a good situation. It's not a great story to tell, but I think it's an important story to tell, and I want to make sure that um, we talk about it. And I'll tell you a little bit of some of the things that I learned, but I can tell you this: the biggest takeaway that I had from this situation is we're not in Kansas anymore when it comes to purchasing a home and getting all the way through that underwriting process. And I just really, really want to make sure that you all understand that and understand what it is that you need to do to position yourself to be able to move forward through the home buying process relatively seamlessly in 2024. 2024 is going to be a very, very different year because it presents a whole lot of different challenges. But again, as it relates to the home buying process, these are things that I've said in the past that I'm going to talk about, but I think that the story that I'm going to tell you all is going to provide the appropriate context to kind of really make it real. So, anyway, as you all come in, please, 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 please do me a favor. I need you to hit the like for me, hit the thumbs up so I can push this out. The algorithm needs to know that somebody's here, people have watched, so that we can let a lot of people know about what these changes are. I'm sharing this information because I just am a believer that when I know something, you should know something. Because a lot of times, what is told to consumers is a little bit in opposition of what's actually happening throughout the home buying process. So we want to make sure that we're breaking all of those barriers as much as possible. So 1 second. Sorry about that. My bad. My bad. Sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, so today, like I said, we're talking about what the underwriting process is going to look like going forward. So just to give you a little bit of a background, last week I had the opportunity to attend a NAREB conference. It is a association for African American realtors. They call themselves realtists. And so it was a very eye-opening experience. I had an opportunity to sit in a session that was from Fannie Mac. Well, a session that was that highlighted, I guess, it was by Freddie Mac, wrong investor, by Freddie Mac. And if you don't know, Freddie Mac is an investor that home loans go through. So when you apply for a home loan, that actual bank is not really who's giving you the money per se. Anytime we are underwriting a loan is because we are following the guidelines of one of the agencies, whether that be VA, FHA, Fannie, Freddie, whoever. They tell us what is acceptable to them, and we move forward accordingly. But while I was at this conference, and I think I'm going to do a separate live next week to really do a deep dive about some of the information that was uncovered. But while I was at this conference, y'all, I heard a pretty startling statistic that of all of the loan officers in the United States of America, only 8% of loan officers are Black. I also heard another statistic that said that they are expecting the homeownership rate for African Americans to decrease from where it is now, which is around 45, to go down to somewhere around 42. And if you don't know, we at the bottom already. When you line us up against everybody else, every other race or ethnicity, we are dead last. And so what the current economic environment is that we are going through for the remainder of this year is probably not going to help that. And that may be why they are projecting for the homeownership rate to decrease even more. But so we're in the conference, right? So I'm in the session, and I'm Joy, just being Joy. So we're in the conference, in the session, and there were a couple people on the panel. You had, if I remember correctly, it was 4 people. It was a guy. I can't remember where the guy was from, but there were, I believe, 2 loan officers and then somebody from the agency. And so we're having a conversation about helping to try and figure out, how do we close this gap, how do we position African Americans to be able to purchase homes, what do we do to move the needle. And they talked about everything. We talked about down payment assistance, we talked about improving credit scores. I think somebody may have touched upon the new FICO scoring model that I don't even know when it's gonna start, y'all. I sit in the meetings once a month, and it's gonna be a while. But they are working on a new scoring model, and that scoring model is supposed to, I guess, help open up the opportunity for and not specifically for Black people, but open up the opportunity or window for more people to be able to enter into the housing market, because the algorithm is supposed to really highlight the last 24 months specifically. It's supposed to not count in any medical debt, which we already don't count it, but if you have collections, it does in fact impact your credit scores. And so we talked about that a little bit. And so when the conversation kind of circled around, I said, all right, so what do y'all have any questions, comments, whatever? So people chatted a little bit, and they I guess had kind of like, they echoed whatever was being talked about, and the more political responses. And so I was like, ooh, a microphone. It's my time to shine. And so I very much am an advocate, and I don't want anyone to think that when I take certain stances or certain positions that I am in opposition of increasing the homeownership rate for anybody or everybody, right? I don't want you to think that, but the lens of which I look at things through is very, very different than the lens of sometimes realtors or government agencies or some of the other people that or entities that are involved along the process, right? I'm able to collect data um, qualitatively and quantitatively as I interact with people on social media, as I interact with people that actually complete loan applications, as I sit and I talk with people about their credit and their finances. There is no secret that home prices are up. We know the core reason why the home ownership rate, I don't want to say is low. Well, it's low. Yeah, it is. To willfully ignore the main reason why the home ownership rate isn't as high as it has been, well, not even been in the past, as high as it is for other groups, is weird to me. It's weird to me. I'm sitting here like, y'all talk about absolutely everything except what the real problem is. So I highlighted 3 things. The first thing that I said was, we cannot allow people to believe that you can buy a house in 2024 earning $32,000 a year? There's no house. And when I say these statements, I want y'all to understand that I live in Charlotte. Charlotte is a major city. Charlotte is one of the fastest growing cities. Every time there's some sort of survey or something, I close my eyes and I pray to God, please don't let Charlotte be on this list. I do not want people to think Charlotte is popping. Please don't tell people, no, don't we fool, don't. And I open my eyes, boom, Charlotte's on the list. Um, and so that encourages people to move to Charlotte. And what we know for sure about the city of Charlotte, and I actually did a YouTube video, I just haven't edited yet. What we know about the city of Charlotte is that Charlotte is 50 out of 50 for upward mobility, meaning if you were born in Charlotte poor, you're going to die in Charlotte poor. And we also know that 90% of the people that live in Charlotte cannot afford to purchase a home here. So that means all of the people that are coming into Charlotte, that's creating an environment where the purchase prices are north of $400,000, they are high income earners and they're coming from other parts of the United States with their higher salaries. And so that's just Charlotte, but I'm licensed in multiple states. So what may be true in Charlotte or in Atlanta or Washington, D.C. or Houston, Dallas, it may not be true in Nebraska. I don't know. I'm not licensed in Nebraska. I'm not licensed in, well, I am licensed in Alabama, but Alabama is a much smaller market. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But for the most part, I would say 98% of everything I'm saying is going to be true for everybody. So I'm sitting in the meeting and I'm like, y'all know what? It would be disingenuous for us to sit up here and not talk about the core issue of income. Like, it's like the thing that nobody wants to admit. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that you can't buy a house with no money. And you certainly can't get a loan if your ability to repay doesn't meet the standards of the investors and those agencies that I mentioned at the very beginning of this, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. It's unfortunate that there aren't homes that will fit the mold of somebody making $32,000 a year. But hey, guess what? This is where we are. Okay. I can't down every hill. Okay. And I also mentioned that. So the first point that I had was, this is great. This is cute that we're talking about this, but credit is not the reason why people can't buy houses. And down payment assistance ain't the reason why people can't buy houses. It's income at the end of the day. People are struggling with their incomes to be able to afford the purchase prices for the homes that are available. So what are we going to do about that? Are we going to talk about that? Now, the agencies, Fannie and Freddie, they're not the right people to talk to about it. But they're in Washington, D.C. And I know for a fact that that is not being talked about at any level. After my live, I'm going to go to a watch party because I vote in every single election under the sun. I don't care if it's for dog catcher. I vote for city council, county commission. I vote for everything. And nobody from on the most local level all the way up to both sides of the aisle for president of the United States, no one seems to care. And that's concerning to me. Like, why y'all don't care? The only way that we're going to get cheaper houses is if there's some sort of government subsidies that come into play that will encourage, or tax incentives or something that will encourage builders to build at a lower price point. Point blank, period. And so, I talked about the income thing. I mentioned that I was very concerned about the way that the FHA buyers are being treated. I've alluded to this in the past, so I'll do a quick recap if you don't know. So it's different types of loans that you can get based on your overall credit profile and the amount of money that you're wanting to borrow. You can get a conventional loan, or you can get an FHA loan, VA loan, USDA loan. Okay. But for the purpose of what I'm saying right now, we're just going to talk about conventional and FHA and VA. When things was popping, and I mean popping, everybody was buying a house. We was just giving them away left and right. Who want a house? Who want a house? Who want a house? We were just, I mean, everybody, anybody could buy a house. They flooded the market and bought up everything in sight. And so what ended up happening was, and this is my position because I was a loan officer then, my position is, now looking back, my position is that a lot of people that want to purchase homes today in 2024 that tried to buy homes in 2020 and 2021 should have already been homeowners. And a lot of the practices that were going on then prevented people from being able to buy homes and put a lot of loan officers, including myself, in positions where we were putting people in loans that probably were not the best loans for them to get. So just generally speaking, whenever you're talking about a conventional loan, you are talking about more of a top tier buyer, I guess, right? So if we had to rank things in order, you're talking about cash, conventional, government, down payment assistance. Okay. Especially when you're talking about multiple offer situations. And so one of the practices that I saw that I know for sure happened, and can't nobody argue me down about this, this is not speculation. This is what I saw happen with my own eyes and what I heard with my own ears. Thanks for social media. Listing agents would get loan application. They would get loan offers. And let's say, again, like I said, it was a ton of people in the market. So let's say, for the sake of this conversation, that there was 10 offers for this one house. They were going through the offers, and if you was a down payment assistance person, throw it to the side. If you were an FHA person, throw it to the side. And if you were a VA, this disgusts me to say this out loud. If you are a veteran, someone that is active duty or separated from service, someone that has fought for the country, somebody who has had to dodge bullets, someone that may have disabilities as a result of serving the country, they looked at your offer and they said 100% financing. They must not have any money. Next case. And so that left it between cash buyers and conventional. And so what was happening was I would have conversations with realtors that would say, hey, are you sure you can't get them into conventional? Let me see. I don't know. Maybe. Let me try. By putting somebody who should have an FHA loan into a conventional loan means that they were probably having a much higher payment because just of the guidelines and things that FHA borrowers versus conventional borrowers and the credit profile that's most ideal for each one of those. So I touched on that, and someone made a great suggestion and said, hey, maybe to prevent this sort of atmosphere, this type of environment moving forward, perhaps Freddie Mac will create some sort of button or something that we can click or check off that says, hey, this is a person in an underserved community, and allow them the opportunity to get a conventional loan, because like I said before, the conventional loan is perceived as being better. So a part of the reason why it's better, if you're asking yourself, when I said, let's say it's 10 offers on this one house and they're throwing your offers to the side because they don't care about you. They're like, oh, nope. The reason is because when you look at the guidelines for FHA or a VA loan versus a conventional loan, and you're in multiple offer situations, that multiple offer situation creates an environment for bidding wars. And in those bidding wars, that could mean, oh, I'm willing to offer you $20,000 more, $30,000 more, $40,000, $50,000 more. I had someone that I did the loan for. I watched this whole thing unfold. The house was listed for $385,000 and they offered $485,000. Luckily, the house appraised, but if that house would not have appraised, right? If that house did not appraise and it was a conventional loan, whatever money that they put up in their due diligence money could have been lost if they did not want to close the gap. Luckily, it appraised. But that's why they want conventional loans, because it almost puts the seller in a position where they're protected no matter what, because of whatever money that they get up front in terms of like earnest money, due diligence money, right? With the government loan, the government is like, I'm not going to play with y'all. This doesn't make any sense. Why would we be okay with somebody spending more money on a house than it's actually worth? We're not playing those type of games. If the house is $385,000 and you choose to, offer, say, $395,000, and that house appraises at $375,000, you have the ability to walk away and get your money back. But allegedly sellers didn't like that. I believe it wasn't the sellers. Not only do I believe that it was not the sellers driving that environment, I saw it on social media. Okay. So we talked a little bit, about what could be done with that. All of this that I'm saying to you is building up to why I'm telling you that 2024 is a different type of environment when it comes to purchasing a home and getting through the underwriting process. So my third and final point that I made was, they pointed out that, like I said, there's 8% of loan officers, of all the loan officers, that are minority. And so there's a theory that if there were more Black loan officers, then it may attract more people to want to enter the market, right? Because when you apply for a home loan, it is a very, very intimate thing. It's an intimate process. You are literally bearing your soul. You are standing naked in front of someone who you do not know. And so all of your past buying decisions, I know about. Every place that you spend every dime of your money, I know about. I'm looking at your bank statements. I know everything about you in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes. And that can be a little intimidating, right? And so one thing that I always try to do is I'm pretty transparent about just me, because I don't ever want people to feel like I'm up here and I'm talking like down here or whatever, right? Like, we are all human beings regardless. Like, no one is exempt from having hard times. Then I try the best that I can to make sure people understand that, and it's not an embarrassing process, right? And it can be somebody making $32,000 all the way up to somebody making $320,000. They all have that same feeling, because regardless, quiet as it's kept, regardless of how much money you make, everybody is overextended. It's a thing. I talk about it on TikTok all the time. It's a real life thing. Okay. So sometimes, being a Black person, you may not want to share those details, or you may not feel as comfortable sharing those details with somebody who don't look like you. Again, that's an operating theory as to why, what we can do to get homeownership rate up. So I said, well, that may be all fine and good and great, but what I seem to find is that I'm Black, I'm on social media, and when people reach out to me, they're like, hey, can you help me? I go through all of the rigmarole. I talk about credit, income, and assets, do a Zoom call. I do all of these things. And then I get my clients stolen from me because new construction builders want to offer bribes, and they gone, right? So we talked about that. We talked about all of those things. And so it was very interesting because it then raised, because I made the comment, my comment was explicit. I was like, y'all, like I said, we're talking about the income. I said, you can't buy no house making $32,000 a year. It's not gonna happen. So someone countered that with, oh, well, I'm in Houston, and in Houston we get people in houses making $32,000 a year all the time. Okay, we're not gonna gaslight Joy. Let's not do that, please. Okay, please don't play with me like that, because math works the same in all 50 states. Math works the same on all 7 continents in the whole wide world. I was gonna say earth. It works the same everywhere. And that is a harsh reality. The reality of it is, I don't know if the loan officer is in here right now, but there was a loan officer that had a TikTok, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago, and basically said, look, if you move into Charlotte, don't even worry about it. If you ain't making $80,000, just don't. Now is not your time. And a lot of people seem to be kind of taken aback and surprised. And I'm like, I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying this for forever. But like I said, we get behind closed doors and we want to act like that's not true. We want to act like you could put Band-Aids on bullet wounds. We want to act like, oh, well, just give them some down payment assistance and that'll cure it all. That don't work. You can have an 800 credit score, and if you do not earn enough money to buy that house, you can't have it, period. And I think a lot of the messaging and a lot of the rhetoric, it has to convey that. And so I said all of that to say, I said the foundation for the story that I'm going to tell you that happened to me last week. I had a buyer that he hates me now. Baby, when I say they hate me, they hate me. So we'll talk about that in a second. But let me see who all we got in here. Hey, y'all. Hey, for those of y'all that have come in, it's 9 people in here. I see y'all. Thank y'all for popping in. If you don't mind, can you please make sure that you are hitting the like button for me? That is very, very important for engagement. I need people to know that I'm here. I exist, and I have something important to say that is going to benefit people. So if you can, pretty please do that for me, okay? Let's see what we got. I got 2 likes. I'm looking at it right now. Can y'all please hit thank you? Here we go. I'm at 5. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. So, thank y'all again. Okay, so Janine, hey girl, hey. Janine says people need to sell their vehicles that have $500 plus monthly payments. Correct. That is certainly a thing that is contributing to us not being able to have as many people be approved for the amount that they need to be approved for. And again, the conversation that we're going to have in just a minute is going to be very, very high level. So I say that to say, if you're someone that understands finance and economics, it's going to be a great conversation for you. But on the most basic level, the math got to math. The math got to work. If you're coming into a situation with minimal income and maximum debt, it doesn't leave any room for the debt that you're asking to take on. And those car payments are absolutely a huge, huge, huge part of what is holding people back from being able to purchase. And it is creating it's creating a block to be able to get people through that process easily and seamlessly. $500 right now in a car payment is probably $70,000 in house, something like that. If the average car payment is $715, all right, well, at least it was maybe about 6 months ago. So the car payments are plummeting right now because the vehicles are upside down and there's repossessions everywhere. Repos everywhere. And so that's gonna create a bigger situation for people that are like, well, my car ain't worth shit. So what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I had somebody reach out to me a couple weeks ago. Well, I made a comment about this on TikTok, but I'd never actually seen it with my own eyes. I had somebody reach out to me a couple of weeks ago, or last week. I pulled a credit report. This person had a car payment that, well, I'm sorry, they had a trade line for a car that went back to 2017. The car payment had stopped being paid. The car was never repossessed. So it's just kind of dangling out there, right? We're 7 years later. And I would love to be like, well, it's going to fall off your credit. It's almost 7 years. No, it won't fall off the credit because it was never resolved. It was never closed out. It's still an open trade line. They stopped reporting on it. It's not showing that it's charged off. It's not a collection. It's just out there. And so that was a different thing. I've never seen anything like that before. So it's, again, like I said, it's from 2017, it's 2024. Car was never repoed, but it certainly does hurt things. You said same thing here in Oregon and Washington. Oh, what, that you can't buy a house for with making $32,000 a year? You can't anywhere. I don't know anywhere you can. I don't know why that lady felt like it was okay to lie like that. That lady, look, she was dead serious. She was like, and I'll get into it. She was talking about down payment assistance. I'll get into it in a second. Hey, Keisha. Good afternoon, Keisha. How you doing? Did y'all watch that Wendy Williams documentary, y'all? How you doing? I feel like I need to keep that alive for her. I miss her. Hey, Shy. Good afternoon. You said thank you for being so upfront and honest. I appreciate it. Are you in real estate, or are you a potential buyer, or like what brought you here? And also too, y'all, where are y'all? What state are y'all in? I'm just curious to know. Where y'all at? Where y'all tuning in from? Where y'all tuning in from? Black Sheep report. Selling a car won't help if you don't have the reserves to pay the upside down deficiency. Selling a car. Oh no, absolutely it won't. No. No. That's what I'm saying. Like, at this point, when it comes to these automobiles, and I again, like, I don't know if y'all see me on TikTok, so you might hear me say some of the same stuff, because I don't know, whatever. I want to get appropriate context to things that I'm saying, so I might reference it. So if you heard it before, it's okay. You can hear it again. But I did a post on TikTok maybe about a month ago, and on the post I was saying, if you're looking to buy a car in 2024, it's your time to shine, because a lot of the people that bought at the top of the market, in 2021, 2022, the values have significantly plummeted because people are getting laid off from their jobs and people can't afford the damn payments. Like, it's too much. And so consequently, the values have plummeted as well. But my thing is, whenever you apply for a home loan, and we're trying to figure out your ability to repay, not only are we looking at your income, but we are looking at your debt. So I guess that's kind of where, excuse me, I don't know if that's why people are like, oh, let's talk about the credit. No, we gotta talk about the debt. And I kind of came off it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of stopped, browbeating people about their car payments when I started seeing that, Honda Accords was $600 a month. I mean, the interest rates are what they are. You ain't nothing you can do about it. It is what it is, I mean, you could choose to not buy. I actually just got off a call right before I turned the camera on, and it was someone saying, hey, I talked to her maybe a couple months ago, and she's wanting to purchase, and she said, hey, I just had an accident, they're going to total my car out, what should I do? I was like, don't buy a car. Like you need to figure out, get your little $1,500 situation and figure it out, until you buy your house. And then, maybe look at getting a car after that, which that's something too I kind of really don't necessarily recommend, because if you max out your budget on a house, it don't really leave any room for you to do anything else. But I mean, but yeah, if you upside that, once you get into that car payment, y'all, I want y'all to understand there is nothing we can do. It is too late. There is nothing. You have no recourse. Literally because of this comment right here. You have no recourse. It isn't like there's equity in it for you to be able to do anything. You get the car payment, the value immediately goes down if it's brand new. It immediately, it was a guy on TikTok crying and complaining that his value went down in 3 days. He was crying. It was so ridiculous. But he was crying and complaining that the value went down. It's like, duh, like you should have known better. But yeah, you can't do nothing. You can't refinance it, because in order to refinance something, you're asking another lender to take on a debt with bad collateral, effectively, because you upside down. And a lot of times people are like, oh, I'll just refinance it. How much money do you expect to save in this refinance? And interest rates are going up. When you bought the car, the rate was probably lower than what it is now. You're literally stuck, nail in coffin. Joy, what can I do? And then the car payments be for like 72, 84, 96 months. You're a LO in Astoria, Oregon. Oh, is that where Kindergarten Cop was? You know the movie Kindergarten Cop? Is that where it was? Because I remember on the movie it was rainy and it was Astoria, right? Was it Astoria, Oregon? Did I just make that up? I love that movie Kindergarten Cop. I know all the words and everything. Oklahoma. Oh, I'm licensed in Oklahoma. Oklahoma's affordable, I think. It's not like Charlotte, but it's more than what it used to be. Is there any particular FHA guidelines I need to be aware of for underwriting? Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Richmond. Okay. I was thinking about becoming an MLO, and even more so because you said there's only 8% Black folks in the industry. Yeah, please do. We need more. We need as many as possible. Now I will say this. I take it seriously. So I ain't talking about no side hustle. I'm talking about career. It's a life-changing career. It's certainly changing my life right now. Another story for another day. All right. Oh, it is. Yeah. Look at me with the trivia. Fun fact. I totally just like put that together in my head. I'm like, Astoria. I've heard of Astoria. Oh, that sounds sad. No. The sun is going down later and later. I'm so excited. The time changes next week. Praise God, whom all blessings flow. I didn't get any seasonal depression this year. I think because I've been depressed all year anyway. I didn't notice the difference. I was summertime depressed and wintertime depressed. I'm an underwriter, but I don't underwrite government loans. Okay. Cool. Well, we definitely gonna talk about it. Real Bravado Network. Thank you, darling. I appreciate that. Look at you. How's it going? Thanks for popping in. I'm gonna call you because I think next week, and if it's not next week, maybe the week after. I think that we can do like maybe a panel discussion, because there was a report that came out. What is this report called? Before I lie. It's like the state of Black America, the state of housing, Black housing, the state of something. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. It's maybe I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah, 2023 State of Housing in Black America. I was perusing through it. It's 96 pages, and I think there's a broader conversation that we might be able to have. And so I was thinking about you and maybe I don't know, maybe Terrell or somebody, but I would love to like dive into it and we can talk about it. But thanks for pulling up on me. I'm a little earlier than I normally am. I'm trying to go to um an election or a watch party for election. So because I did vote like I always do. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, okay. So y'all, I had a situation last week. I had a borrower that came to me that okay, great, good, thank you. So I had a borrower that came to me and pants on fire, 911 emergency, reconnect the community. I got to get along, get along, get along. The person needed this was the last week of January this started. The person came to me and said, hey, this other loan company, I won't say the name, the other loan company, they everything was all fine and good and great um until it wasn't. They told us that we could get a loan, and then they were like, no, you can't. And the reason why they couldn't, according to them, their story was because they didn't have the down payment funds. Now, what they were anticipating was that they were going to get a lump sum of money in a settlement, and the settlement money was not supposed to come until April or May. However, they needed to move out of the property that they were in. They were renting, and they had to move by the 29th, February 29th. Yeah. And so I said, okay, cool. Tell me why did they turn you down? Okay, because of the down payment. So in my head, I'm thinking I'm solving for a down payment issue. Well, I start operating like that's what the thing was. And so I get on the phone with so I was talking to the husband. I said, okay, cool. No problem. We could do down payment assistance. And so with the down payment assistance in North Carolina, there are two options. You could do a FHA or you can do conventional. Well, because I was trying to solve for both short term and long term, I thought conventional made the most sense, because that way they will get the money whenever they get their settlement, and they could put the money down, do a recast, and get a payment that was more suitable for what they would have been looking for had they been able to just put the money down to begin with. Cool, no problem. Well, I pull a credit report. Oh no, hold on, this is important. So the borrower's spouse gets on the phone and she says, well, I heard you got a solution, and she's very skeptical. And I said, okay, well, this is what we're doing. This is what I think. She says, well, I've never heard of a recast. I've been processing loans for 30 years. I ain't never heard of recast. Okay, great. So you said you've been processing loans 30 years. Now we're on the same playing field, and I'm going to treat you as such. And so, meaning, like, if you've been behind the scenes doing a loan, then there's just certain stuff that you just know. It's just common knowledge, right? Just about the business practices and things like that. Not saying that we do things like unscrupulous, but you know how it go, and you shouldn't be hyped up and panicky about certain things. But sometimes when you're in the loan, you can't see past yourself, and I completely understood that. So anyway, so we start going through the thing. So I pull a credit. Hey, fill out the application. I pulled a credit. I was like, I see an extra mortgage on. I see a mortgage that you didn't mention, and I see 3 cars. What's up? So one of the things I said, okay, well, this is fine. So no big deal. I can get the car. Excuse me. I can get the mortgage omitted. Not a problem. If they can show the documentation for that. Now, I want y'all to understand something. Anytime you put something on a loan application, you have to be able to document everything about it. You need to, you're telling a story. You're telling a story of before, during, and after. You're telling a story of beginning, middle, and end. And all of the elements of the story have to be there. Just like when you tell a story, like you're reading a good book, You start with the exposition. Who are the players? What is the setting? It was a sleepy town. Like, y'all know, all of that. We need to know because it's important. Context is important. So we like, no problem. Okay, I can get that omitted. I see 1, 2, 3 cars. Oh, whoa! I didn't know about 3 cars. What's going on here? Oh, well, one of those cars, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, well, you could take $1,000 and pay this down. Now, that's a big difference between an FHA loan and a conventional loan. With the FHA loan, you're not allowed to pay stuff down. You got to pay it off. So if I pull the credit report and you got 12 months of payments left, then I really can't do nothing with that. But if you're conventional, then you could pay it down 2 months to get to 10 months, and then we could just completely omit that debt. Okay. For the most part, that's kind of how it would work. So they was a little bit confused about like how that would work. So we end up saying, okay, we're gonna do this conventional loan, gonna pay this down, no problem. They were limited on funds, remember. So then there was another automobile, and this is where stuff gets tricky. So the automobile that the borrower had said, hey, no, I got this car for a family member. The family member will be getting this out of my name. Okay, cool. I trust you. I believe you. If that's what you say it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Now, that ain't my business. Okay. Now, when I say that ain't my business, I literally mean that is not my business and it's not my problem. We've come up with the solution to get you the loan. These are the things that have to happen. Now, go do it. So how that person was supposed to get that automobile out of their name, I don't know. Well, I didn't know at first. I just assumed that they were going to go and they were going to get like a car loan. And the car loan would, in fact, be, I'm sorry, I meant to do this. I apologize. Let me type this in while I'm thinking about it. And the car loan would, in fact, be refinanced just from car loan to car loan. What I did not know was that they were getting a home equity line of credit. So the other person was getting a home equity line of credit to be able to pay off the car. Okay. There's documentation that has to support that, again, before, during, and after. So as we're going through trying to figure out, well, what is our pathway forward, the more documentation is going to have to be required to show all of these elements and all of these different transactions. So I'm looking at the income. Well, the type of down payment assistance that we were going to do, you are limited. I was going to do 3% down. Because in North Carolina, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer in order to get money. So we're doing 3% down that I was going to get from the state. And 3%. They were going to use their own money for the other 2%, so they could do 5% down total. And I'm leaving something out. Oh, you can't exceed a certain amount in income. Well, they were getting 2 Social Securities. The wife had a full-time job, and the spouse was getting a housing allowance from their employer. So it was a church. So no problem. Okay, so send me the documents. I just need, this, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so I get the documents. I'm not seeing no problem. Now, I have said on this platform before, I said before, I'll say it again. This is just who I am. This is all loan officers. We are not detail-oriented people. We are big picture people for the most part. We leave all them details and stuff up to underwriters. And so what ended up happening was we get the documentation, and this is where the story starts to take a left. So we get the documents, we going through everything, we submit everything to the underwriter. The underwriter is like, what's up with this housing allowance? I don't know what's up with it. What you mean, what's up with the housing allowance? Is it a problem? The underwriter is like, well, the housing allowance goes to a cash app. Okay, still not hearing the problem. What's the problem? Now, I don't know if you all know how cash apps work. If you have a cash app or not, put a 1 if you got a cash app. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you have cash app. Put a 2 if you have never used cash app or you don't have your own cash app. Let me know. Let me know what we got. Okay. So for the most part, okay. So whenever you use or whenever you set up Cash App, you set it up with your legal name. My name is Joycelyn Bailey. My Cash App is $ the mortgage boss. That is the Cash App tag, Cash App name tag. Okay. There is not a place in the United States that I can go and say, hey, I need to do a legal transaction. I'm the mortgage boss. They're going to be like, who is that? All right. So, as husbands and wives do normally, most of the time, the wife is the one that's going to take charge of a lot of documents and things like that. And so, in this situation, the wife, long time ago, before they met me, set up a Cash App. The Cash App was set up under her name as it's her account. Okay. So it's her. Now, she has a Cash App, he has a Cash App. The difference in account names, they're both in her name, but the difference in the account names was, I believe, for one of them, it used like her middle initial, and the other one did. But by all means, when we're like, hey, can you print out transaction summary or whatever, everything has her name on it. So anytime you doing anything, like I said, remember before, during, after, where did the money come from? Where did it go? Where did it end up? So we're like, okay, well, let's go to the church. Hey, church, we need, can you prove that y'all gave him this money? Yeah. Here's the bank account. Great. We see the money being deposited to her. Now, I want you to hear me on this, y'all. A housing allowance that's income. That's not like, it's income. Okay. So the same way that you got your job at the Bank of America and your check come on Friday, it's coming in your name. It ain't coming in your daughter's name. It's not coming in your sister's name. It's coming in your name. So the Cash App deposit came from the employer into that account. We see the name. This ain't his name. Okay. Well, where does it go after that? Into a joint account. Both of them? Nowhere in this continuum, this before, during, and after, can we isolate it's his money. So reach out to the church. Hey, church, y'all said y'all giving out all this money. We're looking at everything here, and what we're seeing is this, can you identify, like, they're both getting money from the church. And they both have the same last name because they're married. And what's going on? Like, can church, can you clarify this? They say, yeah, we give them this much money. Well, the underwriter is looking at everything, and the underwriter is like, it's still not clear. When we reached out to the church people said, hey, yeah, they get this amount of money, but I can't definitively tell you for sure that this money is going to this person A or person B, him or her. Okay. Problem. All right. So I want to pause there. Y'all, in the underwriting process, the underwriter's one job is to protect the company from losses. That means that losses can happen multiple ways. Losses can happen because we are giving out money to people that don't qualify and they can't pay the money back. Or losses can happen when we sell loans off to the secondary market and something go awry there and they say, we don't want this loan, we gotta give it back. And you have to do what's called a repurchase, right? Buying the loan back. So this is where I say the more high level conversation is. So to understand how home loans work. And people get very upset with us when they like, oh, they ain't give me a loan because I'm black. No, we ain't give you a loan because your shit fucked up. Dang, the underwriter, they hate me. The underwriter don't hate you. The underwriter likes them. The underwriter likes themselves a lot more because they have family to feed. Okay. The loan officer don't know what they're doing. The loan officer's job is not to underwrite the loan. So in this particular circumstance, we have income that we cannot prove is coming to a particular source, particular person, because it appears throughout the entire continuum of that transaction that it's going to someone else. The church says, hey, look at their taxes. Now, remember the beginning, as I said, every time you introduce something, you introducing documentation to back up whatever is being said. Now, one thing about an underwriter is they can't unsee something. Me, I can. If I look at something, I'm like, ooh, I ain't gonna tell them about that. We just gonna leave that out the store. Underwriter can't do that. So now at this point, I'm completely out of it. All of this is happening via emails. Ain't nobody really directly talking to me. And if you're not directly talking to me, as you were, continue, carry on, right? I'm not gonna insert myself because people are doing their jobs. So we have this situation where the underwriter is questioning where the funds, like questioning, well, how do I properly document this money is going where y'all are saying it's supposed to go? How do I account for that? How do I answer for this? And that is the difference between 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, and 24. They are tightening up big time. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, it's common sense. I don't understand. What's the problem? Like, it's a housing allowance. They live together. What's going on? No, it's not good enough. So it starts to escalate. And honestly, I think this went on for over a week. And so finally it was escalated high enough to where, there was an underwriting manager that was like, okay, fine, we good with it. But at this point, now we have tax returns. We find out tax returns have some Schedule C income, Schedule E income. Schedule C income means that somebody is self-employed. Now, when we started this application, did nobody tell me they were self-employed? That was not a line item on the application, nothing. I'm thinking there's regular wages to go. So now the underwriter got to pick that apart, okay? Whenever you apply for a loan, I want you all to understand it's not you. It's not you. It's the process. So remember, Miss Lady was like, I've been processing for 30 years. Okay, then you should know what's up. So we missing pages. We need all of the pages for the last 2 years. We need the pages. We need to pay. Missing schedules, missing pages. You got everything. You got everything. The underwriter's like, I don't have everything I needed. Missing pages. Come on, give them to me. Give them to me. So it was some back and forth about that. Guys, when the underwriter asks for something or the processor asks for something, you all need to figure out how to get it to them the way that they're asking for it, because it's going to hold up your process if not. Okay. So when we kind of get toward the end of the transaction, and I mean, these people, they are disgusted with me at this point. They think that we are incompetent. They think we don't know what we're doing. They think that, well, why don't we just all get on the phone and we can talk about it? And I could just show you on my phone. I could just show you, this is my Cash App tag. I'm like, that's cute. That ain't how this works. Then there was issues, like I said, with the whole like equity line of credit thing, that situation. We didn't have all the documents for that, and we hadn't fully cleared that, and they just were very frustrated. They could not understand why we just couldn't just move forward, because we understood that it was going to happen. It's going to happen. We're getting the money. It's going to happen. They're underwriting it right now. Okay, well, it needs to happen. All right. That's kind of how like they ended up with me to begin with, because the prior lender was like, they were like, oh, we're going to get the money. They was like, go get it. Okay. Go get the money. And so we end up in a situation where everything has to be documented. Everything has to be documented in a particular way, because what we are starting to see happen now is that the economy is not doing well. There are lots of layoffs. The economic environment in 2023, 2024 is way different than it was in 2019, 2020, 2021, where it was money all over the place. Money was free flowing. They was making it rain. You could quit your job on Monday and get a job on Friday, making more money even, right? Well, the thing is, y'all, we're not the only ones that can see certain headlines. We talked about the impact of these auto loans and the repossessions and things. Well, guess what? The investors, they see it too. They know all of these different economic indicators to see how is the economy doing. If you are somebody that you can't handle a $500 loan and you got a loan in collections, how the hell you supposed to handle six figures? They know all of these things are happening. And so consequently, and I don't know if you know, but there was some fraud and things that happened back in 2020 and 2021, but everybody was just so busy and so overwhelmed, they couldn't catch it. But that don't mean that they don't catch it. It just takes time. And so what we're seeing now is loans are having to be bought back. So let me take you through the cycle of a loan. Keisha wants a loan. Keisha says, Joy, I'm applying for a loan, $400,000. Joy says, oh, this is amazing. This is great. Yes, my kind of loan. Keisha goes through the underwriting process. Keisha closes on this $400,000 loan. We sell it off to the secondary market. So what happens is it's like a circle. Okay. So we as the lender, we have no money. Someone is giving us money. Someone is investing in us. That's why they call investors, right? So we start off Keisha's application. Keisha applies for the loan. She comes, all right, here, whatever. We're like, all right, we're gonna give you the money. And then we sell the loan out to the secondary market so they can give us back our money. And so when we get that money back, we lend it out again. And we give it out again, and we sell it again. And we lend it out again, and we give it out again, and we sell it again. It's a cycle, okay? And so when something in that is disrupted, meaning the end of that, when they're like, when the secondary market agrees to buy the loans from us, if something is wrong, and they're like, something in the milk ain't clean, what's going on here? This doesn't meet all of the criteria. There's missing documents. Why did you calculate the income like this? This pay stub appears to be fraudulent. All of these different things, they like, no. And they make us buy it back. And when you get, a few of those on your record, now all of a sudden it's just like a credit report. We're not trustworthy. They may not want to do business with us. They might not give us the best pricing anymore because we haven't proven ourselves to be good investments, right? So again, like I said, we're going to get a little bit high level because I want y'all to really get this. A lot of people are like, the bank making all that money off that interest. Well, no, that's not how it works at all. The secondary market, they make all the money off the interest. So it's almost like if I come to you and I say, Shy, For $20, if I'm gonna sell you, these sticky notes for $20. If you buy them, you're gonna make $200. Same thing with a home loan. I'm gonna sell this $400,000 loan to the secondary market, and they gonna make however much money they gonna make because of the interest for however long they hold that loan. Okay. Well, they're agreeing to buy it under certain stipulations, certain circumstances, and those are guidelines. If we are too aggressive in certain things, they like, oh, hold on, hang on, this ain't what we agreed to. This ain't okay. It's almost like a relationship, right? Everybody has different rules or guidelines in their relationship, right? You might be okay with your man flirting a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But then when he started flirting in front of you, like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, that ain't what. Ooh, hold up, that ain't what we agreed to. You going a little bit too far. Hang on a second. And that's how lending works. And so in 2024, it is going to be more challenging to go through the underwriting process. And it's not me saying this. This is underwriting managers saying this. I've talked about it on TikTok. I had underwriters in my TikTok. I've had other loan officers tell me. I have read articles about repurchasing loans and some of the post-closing challenges that are being experienced right now. I'm reading it's an article right here. It says the aftermath of the boom lending years of 2020 and 2021, repurchase activity in the secondary mortgage market has increased sharply. More and more Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and other investors are demanding the lenders that they bought the loans from repurchase them due to discrepancies or fraud. So if we see that's happening, if we see that is a trend, we have to stop it before it gets that far. And by we, I mean underwriters. Their job is to protect the company. Their job is to make sure that the company is not taking losses. If the company is having to repurchase 3, 4, 5, 10 loans a month, that's millions and millions of dollars. That's a lot of money. I had that happen one time. I was working for a different company, and it was a really small loan amount. It was a like $57,000 loan amount in Oklahoma, and the year I think was 2021. And whenever we put all the information in the computer, we click a button for the automated underwriting system to read through everything, and what we're looking for is something called approved eligible. Well, as it happens, and I don't know how or why or what, that person got the approved eligible. Now, they had run this a bajillion times. And if you run it too many times, that can cause a problem because it looks like you're trying to manipulate things to get the answer that you want. And so it was, like I said, $57,000 loan, real small loan amount. And so we got all the way through everything. We get the person to the closing table. They get the keys. They going about their life. Well, post-closing got the loan. They ran it, and they weren't able to get the approved eligible, which means that it was not sellable to the secondary market. That meant that we had to hold that on our books until something happened. And so if I remember correctly, they had to go back to that person and kind of offer them the best deal that they ever had in their whole life to get them to reapply and do the loan all over again to make sure that the loan would be sellable to the secondary market. So I said it to say it's very, very costly, and underwriters that hold that job title, their job, like I said, is to protect the company from risk. If they are putting undue risk on the company, they could lose their job. And so I said all of the things that I talked about leading up to this because I want you all to understand, don't, when you all are applying for these home loans, you need to come prepared. And a part of the problem that I have seen for quite some time now is that people want to believe what they want to believe. And there are some people that are out here that are willing to tell you anything that you want to hear to get you an application, or to try to sell you a home. And those things include, but not limited to, you can buy a house with no money. You can't. You cannot. You cannot buy a house with no money. You cannot buy a house with no money and bad credit. Okay? You got to pick a struggle. And so when I've said on social media platforms before where people be like, oh, I close loans with 580 credit score all the time. I've said they lying. They lying. That's not true. They're lying. You have to think about, if you have a 580 credit score, why do you have a 580 credit score? First of all, that's bad credit. Let's call a thing a thing. And again, I think we all have to start working off the same set of facts. I think the homeownership rate amongst Black people is as low as it is because we're not operating off of the same facts. And that's a concern. I am coming to you right now telling you, as a 9-year mortgage lender, I have worked for banks and I've worked for just regular independent mortgage companies. I'm telling you to your face, you cannot buy a house with no money and bad credit. Somebody can come right behind me and say, oh, I do it all the time. And you are going to believe them over me because it's what you want to hear. And that is not getting us anywhere. Why is it that in the largest transaction of your life, and this goes for everybody, it's irrespective of race or anything like that. This is Americans. In the largest transaction of your life, why do you expect to not spend no money? Make that make sense. Because that's literally what we are confronted with every single day. I want to buy a house. Oh, I'm a first-time home buyer. Okay, well then buy something. You don't buy nothing if you don't spend. What you mean? You gotta spend money. And in spending money, I've said I recommend have a 640 FICO score. Because think about what I just told you. We all can acknowledge that there's job layoffs that's happening every single day. We can all acknowledge that the economy is tightening. Costs are up. Now, I don't know if you understand the relationship between interest rates and job loss. So let's talk about it. Everybody borrows money from somebody. Y'all remember during the pandemic how the Cheesecake Factory was like, we ain't got it. And Nordstrom and all of those multi-billion-dollar businesses, they was like, we ain't got no money. We ain't got it. We ain't PPP me, please. We ain't got it. We can't cover payroll. I'm confused because Susie Orman said you're supposed to have 6 months saved up. That's what she told us. So surely she told y'all the same thing. Y'all ain't got no money? Nope, we ain't got it. Because everybody's borrowing money from somewhere. The reason why there was a lot of opportunity for people to get employed and get jobs is because the cost of money was cheap. So the Fed sets the federal funds rate. So it's the cost to borrow money. And so we pass that on to you plus a little bit of profit, right? So when it was at zero, or near zero, it didn't cost really no money to borrow the money. So it's like, okay, great. Let the good times roll. This is amazing. It's fun times. Money everywhere. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And as it starts to become more and more expensive, because remember, I just told you, everybody's functioning off credit. Their credit cards are getting more expensive. Our personal credit cards are getting more expensive. So we don't have extra money to be going here and there everywhere because we have to reallocate those funds to go toward credit cards. We know for a fact that the consumer credit card debt in America is at an all-time high, right? We know that people are defaulting on their consumer debt. We know for a fact that people are defaulting. Well, I don't say defaulting, but haven't started paying back their student loan debt. We know all of these things. And so, as I said before, the relationship between when we looking, on the TV and like, oh, are they gonna cut the rates? Are they gonna cut the rates? Oh no, they gonna leave them the same. Oh, they raising the rates. That means that company, ABC company, has less money to just be able to just go out and say, let me hire a bunch of people. They ain't got it because the cost of borrowing is a lot higher. So because of that, they have to start cutting. They cutting jobs. Okay, we're gonna let 5% of our work staff go, workforce go. We're gonna let 10% go. We're not gonna backfill it. Whoa, you know what we could do? We can save by getting rid of this department and getting AI. Oh, that'll save us a lot of money. They're the same way that you and I are looking for ways to cut back. Oh, I don't really need Netflix. They don't really need you. Right? Same thing, because their bills got higher just like how our bills got higher. They pass a lot of that on to customers, though, to kind of make up for it. But ultimately, as the interest rates are high, the higher they are, the more it slows the economy because it costs these companies more money to borrow money, more money to cover their payroll, more money to do anything and everything, replace technology, everything. And so it slows things way down. Do you think for 1 second that these investors don't see all of this happening? And as they see this happening, they're like, hold on a minute. I don't want to, I can't overextend myself because you told me that if I bought this from you for $20, I was going to get $200 back. Well, what happens when they don't get that $200 back? They got to start figuring something out. They're like, okay, hold on. Maybe we don't want that same person. Maybe we don't want to invest $20 in that same type of person anymore. So they start to look at, well, we've been buying these $20 widgets expecting to get $200 back. We need to switch it up a little bit. And when they switch it up a little bit, that means that is your loan, your credit profile that they're saying, I don't like that no more. Oh, hold on a second. You mean somebody that we approve somebody with no money because they got down payment assistance, really no money because they got, let's pretend, a gift for their closing costs, and then they had no reserves in the bank, and they had a 640 FICO score, meaning they just barely got the down payment assistance. Won't like this. Whoa, hold on a second, right? So even though somebody may check all of the boxes, it could very well end up in a situation where the underwriter is like, oh, shoot, we see the risk. We see the possibility that this ain't gonna work out. Tell me more about the person that you're getting this gift from. Let's look into a little bit more about, like, I'm making this up because I don't know, but I'm saying let's look in a little bit more about why don't you have no money in the bank of your own? You know, are you overextended? Like, what's going on? What's happening? So in 2024, y'all, we gotta step it up. We gotta step it up, and we have to step into reality. And the reality is, you can't buy a house with no money. So when people are telling you that you can, you need to question it. What's in it for you? Why would you tell me something like that? In an environment where I could lose my job when I open my eyes in the morning, why would they overextend themselves to give me $400,000 and I don't have no money in the bank of my own? It's odd. What is the incentive? Like, seriously, they don't know if you're going to have a job by Friday? Has no clue. What reassurance have you provided that they're going to feel comfortable with your profile? So things are tightening. Things are tightening up, and you all need to understand that. You need to know that. You need to know about these things. If you are a realtor, you need to know these things. You're going to have to acknowledge the truth. And the truth simply is, you cannot expect someone to give you $400,000 when you have nothing. And it's not to be rude or impolite, or I'm just, this is what is happening. We have to look at the risk that's there, the risk that's prevented. Y'all got family members you won't get $20 to. Okay, and you know I'm not lying. You got family members you won't get no money to because you don't think they'll pay you back. And if they be like, I pay you back next Friday, your response probably gonna be like, all right, well, wait to buy the thing till next Friday. Right? These things matter. The economy is slowing. The jobs report, I don't know if it's coming out tomorrow. It should be out sometime this week. I can't remember when. And as of right now, or at least last month, they said it's a little bit misleading. It looked like we had added over 300,000 jobs. But what they're saying is there had been job losses, but the people did not file for unemployment. And so since they didn't file for unemployment, they can't be counted as the unemployed. Okay, Friday is the BLS. Thank you. Yeah, I thought so. I wasn't sure when. But they can't count you. I don't know if any of you all have ever been laid off before, but what happens is they give you a little paper, whatever, and they say, all right, we'll call this 800 number. And you call the 800 number once a week. And they ask you like 4 or 5 questions. One of the questions is, did you look for a job? You probably lie and be like, yeah, I look for a job. Or whatever. And you get your little $300 a week for 12 weeks or however long your state says that you get whatever the amount of money is. But they're counting that. All of that data is being collected. Those statistics are being reported to determine the health of the economy. And the more job losses we see, which I hate to say it, I really say this like as kindly as possible, but hopefully we'll see some job losses. Not necessarily because we're rooting for people to lose their jobs, but we're rooting for the economy to slow down. So then things won't cost as much. The more money that's circulating in the marketplace, whether it's the housing market or anything, the more money that's circulating, the more likely it's going to create an upward pressure for inflation to continue. When you got it, you don't really complain about spending it. But then when you don't got it, you like, oh, I gotta pull back. I can't be spending all this money. Oh, I can't book that flight. Right? And one surefire way to make sure your ass ain't out there booking flights to Dubai is to make sure you ain't got no damn job. That'll slow things down. And then when things start slowing down, they'll start cutting the rates, cutting the rates, cutting the rates, cutting the rates. Well, why would they cut the rates, Joy, if they wanted things to slow down? Because they don't want it to slow down and stop. That would be depressing. Get it? Depression. All right. We don't want it to slow for too long. We want it. I'm not an economist. I don't know what a happy medium is, but it needs to slow so things can come down to normal. So the car prices, are they really plummeting or normalizing? They're normalizing. They should have never been that high to begin with. Oh, of course, the next question is, oh, does that mean that the home prices are coming down too? No, it does not. And the reason why that is not going to happen with home prices is because we don't have enough houses. If there was a healthy supply of homes, then maybe perhaps, but that's not the case right now. Jerome Powell thought that his theory, bless his little heart, his theory was, oh, well, as rates go up, home prices will come down. Well, yeah, technically, maybe that would have been true if it was a lot of houses, but the homes that were available to purchase was new construction. And new construction was the winners in all of this because they were able to manipulate the market to create a affordable incentive, so a more affordable payment for the people that were in the marketplace. So I say all of this to say, just through that real life example that I gave you, y'all, when you go through the home buying process, you need to make sure that you are very well qualified, and you need to make sure that your documents are tight and right because they're going to question everything. So pack your patience. It's not that we don't want to give you money. I always say, hey, don't nobody want to give you money more than the bank. Okay? Don't nobody want to give you money more than the bank. Nobody on this earth want to give you money more than the bank. But there's also a space in there. Yeah, we want to give you money, but we want to stay in business too. So because the data is bearing out that we're having to repurchase, and when I say we, I'm saying the industry is having to repurchase loans that may have been originated a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. That makes you a little bit nervous. That makes you a little bit nervous. Because, once it's gone, you kind of, out of sight, out of mind. But they're going through them, and I'm telling y'all, they're saying that they're having people, according to a Sterling Point Advisors report on Fannie Mae's repurchase data for single-family loans, the GSE made $1.1 billion in repurchase demands in 2020. That number skyrocketed to $2.1 billion in 2022. Y'all think they're gonna give out the money the same way? How they did before? It went from 1.1 billion to 2.1 billion. Why would they not turn the faucet off or turn the pressure down? And this is the thing that family I was telling you about. They was like, y'all don't know what y'all doing. We done bought 6 houses. What is your problem? It's a different environment. It's a different economic environment right now. The good times might have been rolling the last time that you bought the house. No problem. The underwriters and these lending companies weren't faced with numbers like this before. The environment, it says in this environment of increased scrutiny, particularly in Florida, where foreclosures and non-performing loans are prevalent, it is vital for mortgage brokers to understand that all the ways that they can be held responsible for post-closing, not just repurchase demands. Y'all, it's a big deal. It is a very, very big deal. There's relationships that have to be managed on both sides. We want to manage our relationships with you, with realtors, with whatever, referral sources or whatever. But we also have to manage the relationships with the people that's going to pay us the money. They're going to buy the loans from us. If we get them a bag of goods, they ain't going to want to buy nothing from us no more. And that's just how lending works. And I know most people don't know that, but I wanted to put it out there because somewhere there is somebody who is like, oh, this get them all hot and bothered to hear stuff like this. But to most people, all they want to know is, are you going to give me money or not? And the answer is, we're happy to give you money if you qualified. So y'all got to cut the shit. And I mean it. Like, this got to stop. All this trying to figure out a way to scapegoat and go around the rules and not follow the rules and figure out shortcuts. The long way is the short way. The long way is the short way. You got to have the money. And when people say, well, how much money do I need? All of it. I don't know what other answer to provide because, again, my goal is not just to have someone apply for a loan. My goal is to be able to get you the loan and get you into the house. And not only get you into the house, keep you in the house. So that means, yeah, like what you mean? Like you can, I know for a fact there are so many people that will be willing to come to me with $1,000. Matter of fact, I ain't even got to say that. I see it on social media probably once a week. Somebody as a flex. Oh, got a single mom into a house with only $1,000. What the hell? That shit should be fucking criminal. What do you mean you got a single mom into a house with $1,000? What are you talking? Well, okay, hold on. Let me think. Maybe she has a huge 401k that she's sitting on. Maybe, no, that's highly unlikely. And then the other thing is, and then I'm going to close this out. Be careful when we start talking about down payment programs, down payment assistance. I want you all to understand something, and I want you to hear me and hear me good. There's nothing wrong with your down payment assistance. There's nothing wrong with your FHA loans. There's nothing wrong with your VA loans. But you still have to have the elements of being a good borrower for all of those things if you expect to make it all the way through to the end without having sleepless nights. Have all of the money. And then if you can get the down payment assistance, wonderful, great, phenomenal. Congratulations to you. Here are your keys. But it just makes your life so much easier. It makes the buyer's life, the bank's life so much easier. Use whatever tools that are available to you to help you achieve what you're looking to achieve. But as I said at the very beginning of this, I think that we still have got to recognize and acknowledge the fact we are talking about Lots of money. Nobody wants to give money to somebody that doesn't have any money. So that means you can't go in these multiple offer situations and like, oh, well, the seller give me the closing costs. How you know that? You can ask, but they might tell you no. Then what you gonna do? Go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the and now you have fatigue. You have buyer's fatigue because you don't put in 10 offers, 15 offers, and everybody told you no. This is why I said what I was saying about there's nothing wrong with FHA loans, but that's what was happening. That is what was happening in 2020, 2021, putting in offers and they were all being rejected because everybody wants to do business with the people that's the cream of the crop. Let's be for real. Let's be honest about it. So use whatever you have for your tools, but I want you again, I want to try to barely qualify. It's not working. And nobody's going to say it out loud because they're like, "Oh, well, we don't want to scare people." Boo. Boo, bitch. Like, surprise, surprise. Like, I don't know what to say. It's a lot. And not only is your loan being underwritten by that lender, you have mortgage insurance that has to go through an underwriting process. And I had somebody on TikTok message me and say, this is what's happening with homeowners insurance as well. They said that they are writing the policy on the 1st, and by the 31st, they canceling the policies. It's a thing. And guess what the insurance policies are tied to? The secondary market that I just told you. Those investors are like, oh, child, I don't know. Oh, I don't know about them. The secondary market, they drive the bus on all of this. So the very best bet is to be as qualified as possible. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever that means to you, that doesn't necessarily mean you got to have 20% down. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to have an 800 FICO score. That's not what that means at all. But I would strongly encourage the mentality to make a shift, because it could be the difference between getting a loan and not getting a loan. You could check all the boxes, but like I said, when they start going through, okay, oh, I noticed on your bank statements that you had overdrafts. What happened here? That stuff matters. It makes a difference. Why does it matter? It was only twice. Well, shit. You can't handle the damn debts that you got now. What the heck? Why would we give you more? It creates a narrative. So, yes, we have the basic stuff where we check and check and check and check, 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 check. But at the end of all of those boxes that we check, we have a picture, an overall picture. Who are you? What is the likelihood that this loan is going to be paid back on time for the next 3 years? Believe it or not, y'all, there are people that they get the loan and they don't make their first payment. What do you believe in your heart is going to happen when they get enough of those? They're going to tighten it up. And I'm going to call a thing a thing. There's already some discrepancies when it comes to Black people getting loans versus everybody else. Why would we create opportunities for somebody to say no? Why would you go in eyes wide open knowing you're not together and you're there on a wish and a whim? My advice, you've got to be very careful with who you're doing business with. If someone is telling you that they can do something that sounds like it's impossible, it probably is. All this, I'm a fix your credit. Do y'all think we stupid? Do y'all think we can't read? We can't see patterns? We can't look at credit reports? When we look at your credit report and you got authorized user, and then your one little trade line of your own, what you think we do? Remove, remove, remove. Can this person stand on their own? See, that's the part that don't nobody tell you. That's the part that don't nobody tell you when you out here trying to buy up all these trade lines and stuff. We see you. And then I'm telling you, so this article, I don't see the date. When was this? I don't see the date for it. Hold on. So the article I was telling you, I don't know. I don't see the date for it. I'm assuming it was this week. Nope, February. Okay. It was published February the 21st of 2024. They are giving me statistics on what happened in 2020, 2021, and 2022. It takes time for these patterns and things to emerge, but baby, when they do, practices have to change. I have never been an advocate for telling somebody that they could buy a house with no money and bad credit. You cannot, you should not. All this rent to own bullshit, I ain't never seen it work. It works actually, it works wonderfully with people that have money and good credit. It works great for somebody that has a lot of money and they need to tweak their credit. It works great for, like, when I say have money a little bit, so it might be somebody that's like kind of try before you buy. Like, you new to the city, you don't really know, you think you like the neighborhood, but you like, I don't want to commit all the way. I really like this house though. Let me try it out for a year first. Make sure the neighborhood ain't janky. Okay, I'll buy it. It's not for somebody to go in on a wish and a prayer. None of it is. There's nothing about, I don't know how, there is nothing about the home buying system that's set up for success for somebody with nothing. I don't care what people tell you. I don't care how good and, well, I really want to help people. When it's time for y'all to have to pay these realtors that 3% commission, they're going to stop talking to you. Because you can't do nothing with no money. And I just believe that once we really start to say these things out loud and it changes the narrative that it's possible for those things to happen, that's when we will start to adjust our practices. And that's all it is. It's not that people are not capable. I don't believe that's true at all. I don't think it's a matter of people not being capable to rise to the occasion. Why would I if I think the bar is here? Then that's where I'm trying to work to go. What you mean? What's the problem? But if I'm telling you it's here, but it's really here, have I hurt you or have I really helped you? I've not helped you. I've not helped you at all. I've hurt you. All this down payment assistance stuff, the Miss Girl was like, oh, we get people in the homes all the time to make $32,000 a year. No, you don't. That's not how math works. A $400,000 house is a $400,000 house everywhere. Obviously, I'm using, let's call it the median, so half below, half above, but there is no 120,000 house that's habitable. We got to get for real and can't look and point the finger to be like, oh, it's because I'm black. No, it's because you're unprepared. I have never known a single person that's gone through the home buying process to call me a liar. Not one. Not a single person. Not one. Ever. I am batting 1,000. No one has ever bought a house that would turn on this YouTube video and call me a liar. Now you might have one idiot to be like, I bought a house and I ain't use no money. You win. What year? It went in 2024. Try again. All right. So people these days want to be messing with their finances. They don't have copies of their social security number. What happened to file all your important documents in the drawer? It don't exist. It doesn't exist. Like, yeah, it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. We triangulate every document. Everything that you give us, we're verifying from a different source. Your tax returns, we order in tax transcripts. Your pay stubs, we know if they fake. Y'all think ADP got different fonts for different banks? We know what the ADP is supposed to look like. Once you've seen so many, you know what type of font it's supposed to be. You know what words are supposed to be bolded or not bolded, or boxes shaded or not shaded. You know. We got to do better. At the end of the day, we got to do better. And I'm just telling you that if you want to purchase a home, I do not recommend the strategy of trying to meet the bare minimum qualifications. You are more than welcome to do it. You could go over to somebody else's YouTube channel that don't write loans, and they could tell you how it's all these unicorns and rainbows and fairies that's out there. But I do this for real. Every single day, I talk to people every single day. You may feel like it's not fair. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. But I guarantee you're going to make the adjustment before these housing prices do. And the faster we get there and the quicker that we get on the same page, the better off everybody will be. I work in a credit card company, and every time a person tells me that they didn't make the payment because they were on vacation, I think to myself, ma'am, that's not about. I know you lying. Are you for real? It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, we all go through tumultuous times. Like there is nobody that just has, up. That's not how life works. You have ups and downs, it's ebbs and flows, Even I always say, even Kim Kardashian has downs, right? Her downs don't look like mine, but they exist. So I don't ever want someone to think that it's lost on me. That home prices are high or unaffordable, but there are options. There are options that are out there, and there's an option to make more money. If I'm gonna be completely just brutally honest, like I said, we sat there in that meeting and they talked about everything else was up for grabs except the obvious solution of we got to talk to people about making more money. Careers are choices. Career paths are decisions. Increasing skill sets are decisions. They're choices. You can opt in or you can opt out. I am pissed that bacon is $10.99 a pound. I'm pissed. Oh my God, I'm just disgusted. I hate it. I hate it here. Earth is so ghetto. But it is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. I cannot eat bacon. But then what I'm going to do is $10 a box cereal. What I'm supposed to do? I got to figure it out. Everyone is trying to figure it out. But all I'm saying is the underwriting process that was acceptable 2 years ago is not acceptable today. You're going to have a challenging time. Me too. I'm right there with you. I done DoorDash. Oh, horrible. Oh my God. I hated it. Me too. Everybody's had to make, some adjustments. Like this is the highest inflation that we've had in my lifetime. I mean, I was born in the 80s, but they don't really count because I had just got here, like to Earth. I don't know. I just got to Earth. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions? All I'm saying is you can't buy a house with no money, so please stop trying. And your income got to match the house that you're trying to buy. If you make $30,000 a year, now it's probably not your time. $40,000 a year, now it's probably not your time. $50,000 a year with a car payment, now it's not your time. $60,000 a year with the car payment and some student loans, now is not your time. And it's not even being shady, y'all. It's math. Imagine, so in the meeting or whatever that I was telling y'all about, there was a lady, because when I made the comment and I was like, you can't buy a house and make it $32,000 a year, and the other lady was like, oh, we do it all the time in Houston because we get $150,000 down payment assistance. Y'all, do you understand that money's not free? It comes with strings, very tight strings. You might that money, when you start hearing like astronomical numbers, if you ever see like on social media somebody says something like, oh, I was able to give this family $130,000 in down payment, $150,000 in down payment assistance. First of all, y'all have to understand these down payment assistance programs are not structured for everybody. They're structured for this many people. This many. You got this many people trying to get through this opening. Yes, they advertise it to everybody. They tell everybody. I went to a down payment assistance training last year for a county. It wasn't Mecklenburg County. It was a different county. And I said to them, I said, hey, this is awesome. This is wonderful. How many families was able to take advantage of this last year? I think they said less than 10 out of tens of thousands of transactions that happened last year. Those down payment programs are restricted by your debt to income ratio. They can be restricted. Your purchase price. There's one right here in North Carolina in Mecklenburg County where I live. Well, it's for the whole state, but I live in Mecklenburg County. They advertise we could give you $50,000 or up to $50,000 in down payment assistance. The maximum purchase price to get that for new construction is $315,000. Now, I don't know if y'all heard me earlier, but I said that home prices in Charlotte is like north of 400. So the debt to income ratio is going to be limited. Your purchase price can be limited. Your income limited. And by the time you funnel, it's this many people that can get it. So why it's like you're trying to win the lottery. If I'm sitting here saying to you, here's the rules, here's the playbook, let's read the rules together. If I'm sitting here telling you to your face what the rules are, why would you try to do something different? Why make it more difficult than it has to be? Buying a house requires proper preparation, and it can take a year, it can take 2 years. It takes time. And I want people to be successful. And so it does infuriate me when I say these things and then I see somebody go right behind me and undercut everything that I said, but they got 200,000 followers, 200,000 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the platform is. How does this work? And the people with the following don't be writing no loans. What happened in 2006 is what happens when you try correct. I bought a house in 2006 and it foreclosed in 2011. I am a very real person. I'm regular schmegler, regular to regular schmegler. I'm just saying. I wouldn't recommend it. What you gonna do when you get in the house? And then again, y'all gotta understand, like, you should really be offended. I ain't trying to be funny. I ain't trying to be funny when I say this, but you should really be offended. You should be outraged that people are meeting in rooms behind closed doors. And the attitude or the sentiment sometimes, not all the time, sometimes is, oh, what are we gonna do? Oh. Sometimes the attitude is, well, why would you want to give somebody a down payment assistance that is going to not be forgivable and they got to have it for 30 years? Well, at least they're getting a mortgage. What did you just say? Huh? I know you lying to me. You don't see no problem at all with that whatsoever. You don't think like you? Because I mean, after 30 years, that's a long time, you know. Oh, and some of these down payment assistance programs, some of them that the people are like, oh, I got $100,000. Shared equity. What's shared equity, Joy? That means that any equity that you get ain't yours. All of it ain't yours. Some of it, if you don't repay it with your own money, your money, not the equity, your money in your checking account, they're going to be like, okay, cool. Yeah, they can repay it with the proceeds of the sale of the home, but they're going to have to give us 30% of the equity that they've gained. You don't see nothing? Like, that's a problem, right? Oh, but it's a mortgage. They wanted a mortgage. They're homeowners. Shut the front door. That's your attitude for real. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to save the day, and it ain't. I'm being met with tomatoes. Boo! Responsibility, boo! What? But like I said, all I want y'all to understand is that you want to, when you come into the housing market, you want to come in as prepared as possible. You want to come in, you want to provide, you want to be able to have options and opportunity. Whether that means, like I said, increasing your income. Perhaps you need to find another career. And it's okay. I had to find another career. I think, honestly, anybody short of a physician has probably had to stumble their way and find their way into the thing. Because you can graduate school and have an engineering degree, but that don't necessarily mean you're going to get paid so much money. You kind of got to feel your way through it, figure it out. What do you recommend people to spend 2 times their income? Is there a formula? I would say that you could comfortably afford about 3.5 times your annual salary for a purchase price. And then if you reverse engineer that with your monthly income, take your monthly income and divide it by 3. It's the same with an apartment. So if you make $5,000 a month and you divide it by 3, that puts you at $1,666 per month. That would be considered comfortable. I would not recommend overextending yourself. Y'all, this is a big boy game. And it is offensive to me to know that people get in rooms and they want to handle Black people with kid gloves like they can't handle it. Well, we don't want to scare them. Oh, so let's lie to them. Yeah, that'll accomplish something. No. Y'all want to know what? The Hispanic people, and I gotta call a thing a thing. The Hispanic people, they own homes at a higher rate than we do. And then, of course, somebody gonna be like, well, that's because they live together. Well, okay, so maybe you need to find somebody to live with. But it's strange to me that you could take someone that's not from here, and in 10 years, they have found a way to lap us in 1 decade. 10 years is not a long time. 10 years is not a long time. You can't even matriculate through all the years in school. That means that there's a child that would have started kindergarten not knowing a word of English. And by the time that baby hits the 10th grade, not only have they learned English, but their family might own more than one home. And it's literally because somebody said, here's the rules. And they didn't say, well, I don't like them rules. I'm gonna find some different rules. They said, tell me the rules so I can play. Literally. They said, tell me the rules so I can play. I want to play. Put me in the game, coach. And it's not to be like preachy or anything like that. It's weird to me. I don't want to be the person that is disseminating bad information. And I don't want to be the person that's cheering on misinformation. Hey girl, hey. Lies are scary. They are. Lies are scary. But people love them. People love to be lied to. That's like women. You know, women, we like to be lied to. Y'all know we do. Let's be for real. We love to be lied to. Do you think it's going to be a lot of fraud coming out soon? I don't know about a lot. There's fraud that we already know about. I've spoken on it before. Occupancy fraud is the biggest fraud right now that's going. And they've tightened up on that. If you look like, walk like, talk like, sound like, smell like, you might be lying about using a property to be a primary residence, and it's actually going to be an investment property, we're going to treat you accordingly. I had a veteran that lied to me about his purpose of using this property. And if you don't know, if you are a veteran, it's 100% financing, no mortgage insurance, the best loan that there is out there. If y'all want to talk about creme de la creme, that is the best loan that's out there. And that's why I be telling them, like, the realtors, that's who they need to be choosing every single time. Them loans gon' get through every single time. Every single time. They loans, yeah. It's kind of hard to not get through underwriting. And he lied. So he used his VA benefit, and he was one of those ones. He had an automobile payment. He got the car payment out of his name. I mean, and I really thought I was helping this guy. Like, I really thought I was helping. And nothing about him like made me like second guess, because I was like, he working so hard to get this out. Like, it really felt like he was like, you know, like, I really, really want to. I didn't know that he wanted it so he could rent it out. He called me in 6 months and told me that he was renting a house out. Like, I'm skipping a lot, but he called me in 6 months and told me he was renting a house out, and I told on him. Because you know what he did? He returned to the scene of the crime to get another loan, because he claimed that his mama was his mama wanted to buy a house. No, she didn't. You playing with my license. Now I gotta play with your life. And they investigated him. Now, what will come of it? I don't know, but I bet you he won't be getting on another VA loan. But yeah, I mean, there is fraud. There's another type of fraud called credit washing, which is again why I don't recommend like this whole like shortcut. Can I pay? When people ask me, and this is the thing, I will say this about me: I ain't the best loan officer. I'm not the best loan officer. I don't know all the guidelines. I don't know all the loan products. I don't. But I am one of the most ethical. I have a very, very high level of integrity. I do have that. I don't mislead people intentionally. And if I make a mistake or if I'm wrong about something, I apologize. Don't nobody bat 1,000. I don't get on this app or get on this platform or any platform and try to like make myself more grandiose. Like I say, I talk about my flaws all the time. I'm a person, I'm a human being. I know a lot. I don't know everything, but I'm not going to cheer on people doing the wrong thing. And I'm not comfortable with helping people do the wrong thing. So when people like, oh, hey, I need somebody to clean my credit. Why? Because you got bad credit. Yeah, I got bad credit. Okay, let me look at it. You ain't paid a damn thing on time. You don't need no house. A part of the home buying process when you're going through that, it is becoming a bill payer. When you have to fix your mistakes and you have to figure out, okay, I better pay this on time because I really want to get this out. By the time you get to the end of that process, you don't never want to miss another payment again. You become a different person. You become someone that's more responsible. You become someone that's going to um most likely not, have the home taken away. And we don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that for anybody. I don't ever root for somebody to lose their home. Under no circumstances. I mean, well, except that one dude I just told you about because he tried to play with me. But other than that, but there is certainly fraud. Mm-hmm. It's loan officers that commit fraud. It's loan officers out here that'll coach people on how to do the fraud. I came out of a bank, honey. They are very, very conservative. I have that mentality. I have more of a banking mentality. Hey, from California, I appreciate your transparency. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you. I hope you subscribed. And oh yeah, y'all, can y'all make sure y'all hit the like for me? I don't know where I'm at with my likes right now, but if you can, it's 15 people in here. So if you will, please just do that for me. I mean, that's for free. Y'all can send me some cash apps too if you want to do that. Work ain't honest, but it pay the bill. Let's see. And remember the insurance. Yeah, in Florida, the insurance situations were yes. So yeah, insurance has skyrocketed. I think that was a one-time thing. It won't do that year over year, but they'll have to figure it out. Everything is so high now. It's crazy. But yeah, the fraud, it's all types of fraud that's out here. But I ain't gonna help nobody commit the fraud. I don't have a credit repair person. You can go to HUD for free. You could Google housing counseling agencies, and you can go to a HUD housing counselor or HUD housing counseling agency, and they will help you figure out what your plan needs to be. Now, they can't turn water into wine, okay? If you go up in there and you only make $40,000 a year and you're trying to buy a $400,000 home, they going to convince you that you could qualify for a $175,000 house that doesn't exist. Unless you're in a small town like a Fayetteville, North Carolina or something like that. But if you're in a major area, I'm going to be the first to break it to you, okay? Zillow is just a couple of keystrokes away for you to find this information out on your own. And be able to send them off to college off equity. Yes. I tried to do a TikTok before I did this, and I couldn't post it for whatever reason. But right now, the two big moves, if you're a homeowner, you do a cash out refinance and consolidate all these credit cards that you got, because I know you got them. It might be worth trading in that 3.5% interest rate for a 7% interest rate if it saves you $1,000 a month. It'll save you some sleepless nights. Doing a cash out refinance, leveraging the equity that you currently have in your home to pay off some debt. Now you have to qualify to be able to do that. If your debt to income ratio isn't too high, or if your credit score isn't too low, that may be an option for you. And then maybe later on down the line, if interest rates come down, you could refinance to a lower rate again. I mean, I don't know. Another thing that you can do is buy your kids a house. If you have a college age child, son or daughter, you can 100% buy them a house, 3.5% down, FHA loan. I went to college in Greensboro. Aggie pride. Greensboro is not nearly as expensive as Charlotte. Those kids past the freshman year, I think your first semester freshman year, you're not guaranteed housing. So instead of getting them an apartment, take $15,000 out of your 401k, because it's considered a primary residence for you. Yep. And spend that, and then let them collect rent and utilities, and they won't come asking you for money every 2 weeks or every week. And teach them some responsibility, and they'll graduate being a homeowner as well as a landlord. Get to the end of, matriculating through that 5th year, because honey, baby, these kids they be on that 5-year plan. I should have been on that 5-year plan too. But you get to the end of that, 5 years or whatever, they have the option. They can sell it, or they can rent it out for a stream of income, or they could sell it and pay off their student loan debt, or a good chunk of student loan debt. Or if they just dying to have a car that bad, pay cash for the car. They're not going to start their life riddled with debt. And all you did was give them a couple of dollars up front just to get started. And they'll be out your pocket. Hey, out here tracking. I came on early because I'm going to go to an election party, or a watch party. So I started at like 4:30, 4:45. But please catch the replay. I'm just explaining that the underwriting process that we go through now is a lot more detailed. There's a lot more scrutiny with the documents. And so it's just certainly something to consider and something to be prepared for, because I want people to be well qualified when they do start that process. Because y'all know me, what I say, you can't buy a house with what? No money. Unless you're a veteran. I mean, they the only ones. And I stand by that. They the only ones that can buy a house with no money. The rest of y'all, I mean, Uncle Sam, they might want you. I don't know how old you are. I don't know what the cutoff age is. But the people saying that they lowering the requirements. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm concerned. I think, what is it, the Navy? Is it the Navy or the Coast Guard? They say, oh, you don't got to graduate high school no more. What? That don't make me feel safe. Hey, Anthony. Anthony says, I noticed a lot of influencers marketing toward veterans. Made me suspicious. I haven't noticed that, but I need to be. Their loans are easier. Why? And I'll give you a good example. If we're going to be out here talking about, oh, get down payment assistance, you could buy a house. Because now, I mean, I tell you, I say I don't be trying to convince the unconvinced to be convinced unless we're making disciples. And so my thing is, if we're going to be out here begging Oh, you could buy a house. I know you never thought about it before, but why are you renting? Why are you throwing your money away? I don't subscribe to that ideology either. I don't think that the opposite of rent is buy. I think the opposite of rent is homeless. So if you're renting, that means that you are inside. You are not out of doors, and that is the name of the game. You do you. But with that, if you gonna be like, oh, down payments, then you could very easily say, hey, 100% financing for veterans, no mortgage insurance, and then if you 100% disabled, then you don't pay no property taxes in some of these states, like Texas. I got a guy right now. He get $48,000 in disability. He got a day job. I think he makes like $60,000 there, and then he drive trucks, and he make like another like $50,000 doing that, and he's 100% disabled. Disabled do not mean that you like an amputee or that you can't do nothing. But he want to buy a $700,000 house. He can and he will with ease. And he can pay for it comfortably. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, I just feel like redirect it to, like, I just feel like it would just be so much simpler, so much easier. In order for me to get approved for $300,000, I need to claim 100,000. Is there another way? Yes, there is another way, actually. How much money do you have in the bank? I'm dead serious. Like, I'm not joking. It probably sounds like I'm joking, but I'm for real. How much money do you have in the bank? How much money could you invest like upfront, like right now? Little Debbie and Big Debbie. All right. So y'all watch this. $10,000. Here is the thing. Whenever we're looking for ways around what's considered to be the normal operating procedures for things. So if you are someone that is self-employed, the normal operating procedure would be you pay taxes, and whatever you're paying taxes on is going to be the income that we use for your calculation. So that by claiming whatever necessary income that would be needed for you to be able to comfortably, demonstrate the ability to repay, paying the taxes on the front end will prevent you having to pay 20% down on the back end by doing a bank statement loan. Excuse me. That would prevent you having to pay all that, 20% to do a bank statement loan. It's going to have to happen either on the front end or on the back end, but there is no way around it. You're going to have to come out of pocket one way or another. I was telling somebody, like, if your tax bill is $40,000, it's $40,000 would be 20% down potentially, with the loan. So it's still the same amount of money. The thing is, though, with the bank statement loans, the way that works is they look at your deposits. You don't get credit for 100% of your deposits. I don't know the guidelines off the top of my head, but let's just say, for the sake of conversation, because don't quote me, let's say they look at all your deposits and they just cut it in half. That means you need to have so much in deposits that we cut it in half, and you could still qualify for your debt to income ratio to work for, a $2,800 a month payment. So that's another thing. Like, when we start talking about self-employed people, to be self-employed, the income, it still has to be there. Because I know a lot of times the only thing that we say is file your taxes, file your tax. See, this is a two-part thing, right? And this is, again, don't nobody say this out loud. We'll say to self-employed people, file your taxes, file your taxes, file your taxes. Well, shit, if you only made damn $60,000 a year and you filed your taxes, you thinking, okay, I'm ready for my $500,000 home. No, you're not. You have to be operating your business at a high level, at such a high level that there's enough income that's there for you to be taxed on, for you to pay the taxes on, to still be able to have the debt to income ratio that will demonstrate your ability to repay and be able to get through the underwriting process. And still have money saved for down payment, closing costs, reserves, and things of that nature. So it's a two-part thing. And like I said, we don't say it, but it's certainly something that I think needs to be said, because like I said, we always say, oh, if you're self-employed, just file your taxes. Well, if you kitchen beautician and you make $40,000, like what you can't, I mean, you filed your taxes, but then what? You know what I'm saying? The income has to be there as well. So yes, the answer, there's a way around it, but you can't have a way around it without having lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of money. Anytime there's an alternative option to something, it's going to require lots and lots of money. We have to offset the risk, right? Remember, I just said we can't, not in your situation, but we can't have no money and bad credit. So if you got bad credit, then you got to have some money, or vice versa. Hey Joy, thanks for always teaching us gems and info on home buying without the sugar. By the way, your hat and hair game is fine. Ooh, honey, child, listen, I need my hair done. Okay. Sis needs her hair done. I have a speaking engagement that I'm going to be participating in on, I think, Friday. So I had to try and give me some braids or something. Something got to happen. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're very frustrated at age 60. I mean, it's a thing. It's okay. You're not homeless. It's all right. It is okay. It's all right. If you want to be a homeowner, you just got to take the steps. You got to follow the protocol, take the necessary steps, save your money, and just slow and steady wins the race. That's the only thing. And I do believe that in life. I think sometimes it's hurt me because I feel like that. And maybe I'm not, accelerated certain things because I have this like idea like slow and steady wins the race. But I always remember my grandma used to say something. She used to say, you live fast, you die young. So it's time. You have time. Like just take the right steps. And again, no shade. Now I want to say this, and I'm gonna be, completely honest about it. Yes, it's no secret that white people have more money than black people. It's no secret that they have more wealth than black people. There's no secret there at all. We know that. So acknowledging that, let me also help you acknowledge that when I get a lot of these loan applications, they not getting gift money. I've seen it in the past. It happens, but that's not 100% of the case. So we got to stop thinking about what somebody else got going on and stop making assumptions about what somebody else is doing. Oh, the only reason they can do it is because, no, that's not true. No, most of the time when you see people doing things, it's just because they didn't take the shortcut and they did it the right way. And I'm telling you, because I've seen tens of thousands of credit reports. I'm on. Okay, did I read it? Oh, honestly, I'm frustrated. Single at 60 years old, permanently disabled, still renting in California. I want to relocate to Georgia or Texas or an affordable place. Well, baby, it ain't Georgia or Texas. Oh, but in relationship to California, I guess it is. Okay, just kidding. Okay. Um, I'm worried about the length of the loan versus age. Also, oh, we don't care about that. You could be 99 and get a 30-year loan. It doesn't matter. There's no age discrimination. Yes, I do consultations. It's a link in my bio. I'm lying. I'm just kidding. I didn't put it on there yet, but I'll put it in my description. But if you want to do like a 30-minute, I'm sorry, I'm lying, a 15-minute aspirations and ambitions call, we can do that and just kind of talk about your short-term goals, your long-term goals, and see what we can do to get you set up for success. Talk about, a realistic timeline and things that would need to be done. And then from there, you complete a loan application that would allow me to see the full picture of everything, which I do recommend. For most people, I don't recommend it if somebody got like a 450 credit score. Like, I can't do credit surgery. That's not my area of expertise. But a little tweak here and there. But if you've completed a loan application, it allows me to see everything. I know income, I know the debt ratios, and all of that, and then be able to say, okay, well, if you pay this down by $5,000, then you could get another, $70,000 in house, or whatever the situation is. And that is free. I also do like consultations. It's called a loan officer LifeLine. I do charge for that for loan officers. That's like in that 0 to 3 year range. That kind of can't figure out like, well, which way should I go? I'm getting a license or whatever. So if that's you can book that. It's like $35. I need to go up on the price though, but I don't be trying to hit nobody in the head. I didn't say all that. It would be difficult for me to make that determination without having all of the pieces of information. So I can't say I can't say either way. What I can say is, again, when you start talking about those alternative loans, they're called non-QM or non-qualified mortgage loans. You have to have a higher credit score. So you might need like a 680, 660, 680, something like that, to be able to do like a bank statement loan. And again, it's a sliding scale. So if your credit score is below a certain number, then you might need to put down 25% or something like that. So um, I unfortunately I can't affirm this statement because I just don't have enough information to do so responsibly. It's free. Free. Now I do know some loan officers that do charge people to do that, to have those consults. I don't really think that's how I want to run my business, if I'm be honest with you. Because sometimes if you don't know what you don't know, and I feel like it's a part of the job. Now I will say, because people be trying to take advantage, so if it gets to a point where it's like ridiculous and people are just like willfully wasting my time, then I have to revisit it at that time. But now, no, nothing at all. But if you're gonna buy, it'll have to be for a state that I'm licensed in. So you mentioned you would be moving like maybe to Texas. I'm licensed in the state of Texas, so that would be fine. All right, all right, y'all. I'm gonna go. Um, I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna get with the Real Bravado Network, and I think we're gonna do a collab maybe next week, to really unpack that report on the Black home ownership, because I just think these are important conversations to have, especially when there are so many people that are out here that are pushing agendas for a quick buck, right? They're pushing false narratives and, quite frankly, false hope, and it is not helpful. It isn't helpful to anyone involved. At the end of the day, if you want to be a homeowner, it's going to come with some sacrifices. At the end of the day, if you want to be a homeowner, it's going to come with some sticker shock. At the end of the day, if you want to be a homeowner, you got to understand you cannot buy a house with no money and bad credit. That means no money. You can't buy a house with no money in the bank, and you definitely cannot buy a house based on today's market off of a salary that was perfectly acceptable 20 years ago. The money got to be there. It has to be. And again, the people that know, they don't have a problem with acknowledging that at all. It's just it's a cold reality, and I sit in that reality every single day, because if I had to buy my house for me right now, I could not do it. So it's never lost on me, but this is what it is. I'm not in the business of breaking people's hearts. I'm in the business of helping people get home loans. I'm in the business of hopefully helping people get on a pathway where they'll have an asset that will work for them. I'm not one of these generational wealth. Like, y'all done killed that word, honey. Oh, good God. That phrase need to die. Okay. It just, Lord, that phrase needs to die. They done ruined it. I swear to hell. Oh, okay. Hold on. Comments. I have my license already. However, I want to be debt free and have a 12-month emergency fund before I start this career. Thank you for your time and information. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Baby, child. I want the same thing. Shoot. Let me. I don't know. I need YouTube to make me famous. Did y'all hit the like button? I should have like 12 or 15 likes on here. I hope so. But y'all, if y'all haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I'm also on TikTok, The Mortgage Boss on TikTok. I spend a lot of time over there. Be having fun on TikTok. TikTok is a good time. TikTok is a ball. I hate that I didn't get over there sooner. All right. I make $145 a year, looking to buy a $500,000 house with FHA. Can I increase my loan amount to reduce my down payment? Why would you don't need no FHA loan if you got a 730 credit score. If you're a first-time home buyer, you could put down 3% on a conventional loan. Yeah, 3% down. That's fine. What state are you in? Or what state are you buying in, rather? Because, I mean, we can get this pre-approval popping today. Your DTI. Oh, we can look at it and see what can be tweaked. Because if you're making that much money, I mean, I done seen some, I know you can spin it and you make it and spin it. Now, trust me, I understand. I see it. I live it. So I get it, but I would encourage you to look at your installment debts that you have, not revolving debts, not your credit cards. Look at your installment debts that you have and line those up to see how could you decrease, what is the maximum monthly payment that you could decrease for the least amount of money out of your pocket. And that would be one way to help with your debt to income ratio. Because when we're looking at your DTI, you could owe, the University of Sunshine $6 million. If your payment is $60 a month, that's what we care about. If you went to school on the moon and you had to commute back and forth every day, and it was a $10 million loan, you pay $100 a month, that's all we care about. Is what is that monthly payment? So also too, I can tell you, if you have student loan debt and it is deferred, get on a payment plan. Call them people. Tell them you're going to put 5 on it. Okay? Call them student loan people. Tell them you're going to put 5 on it. Because whatever number they come up with is going to be less than the number that I come up with if I have to create a calculation of 0.5% or 1%. 100% of the time, it's always going to be less. So like I said, call them, tell them you're going to put 5 on it. And by 5, I mean like a literal $5. I have seen somebody, they did it. They came back to me and they had a $4 a month payment. Okay. And they get paid a lot of money. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'll be back next week. I think I plan to do another live next week. But anyway, in the meantime, in between time, y'all do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God. I'll see y'all next time.